Rocky Mountain Construction is one of the most popular and well-known coaster manufacturers anywhere in the world today. They make some truly fantastic coasters, including their fantastic hybrid coasters, their wooden top-of-track coasters, and their newer sort of Raptor model coasters. However, in 2015, there was originally a coaster type which was leaked to some people in the industry as the T-Rex coaster. This was supposed to be a sort of larger version of their Raptor coasters. However, we've still yet to see one of these be built anywhere at any theme park across the world. People obviously have grown to absolutely love RMC and all of their different crazy rides across the world because of their awesome, insane elements, very unique layouts, very modern. We've never really seen anything similar to RMC before or after RMC. Intamin is sort of trying to copy RMC elements on some of their coasters now, but they really did revolutionise the coaster industry in a way, RMC. And when this T-Rex model was sort of first announced, or first teased, I should say, because we've never really had any official confirmation on it really. People have been desperately wanting one of these to be built. However, after so long without, after this model was first sort of teased to us in the industry, we're still yet to see one of these come about. Why is that? If this was to be built, why haven't we seen one just yet? We do see a lot of models announced by different coaster manufacturers that are never built, and unfortunately, maybe this is one of them. We also saw RMC tease a family hybrid coaster a few years ago. It looks maybe now that that's not going to happen either. We just thought maybe one of these just hasn't happened yet. But in the past few weeks, we have seen the RMC Wild Moose family coaster announcement. And if a coaster manufacturer that has never built a family coaster before, RMC are known for their massive thrill coasters, have never, they announced this family coaster hybrid model a few years ago, and one of these is still yet to be built. Now they announced this new RMC Wild Moose coaster concept, and that would probably hint at the fact that that is now sort of phasing out the old family hybrid coaster model that they had planned. If we've never seen one of them, maybe RMC go, right, we've announced this model, no park has come to us and bought one of these, we need to think of something different, let's release this Wild Moose coaster concept. And I think that actually may be what's happened with the T-Rex. I can't see a T-Rex ever being built at this point, if I'm honest, or if it is, I think we're a long way away still. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Maybe RMC are working on this technology still, and then we'll see a T-Rex really far away down the line in the future. But for me, I personally just can't see a T-Rex ever being built. But in today's video, we're going to be talking a bit about RMC T-Rexes, and if a T-Rex was to be built, what park can I personally see a T-Rex going to? Like I say, unfortunately, I can't see this actually ever happening. It's a coaster model that I think would be fantastic. It would once again be another RMC revolution towards the industry, changing again what we perceive to be possible with different coasters, the different elements and different tracks that we see around the world. They've already revolutionised the industry so much with their different coasters in the short lifespan that they've had. And I think this would be another generation-defining coaster model if it was ever to be created. But once again, unfortunately, I can't ever see this happening. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback down below, though, if you can ever see an RMC T-Rex happening and where you think it would go. Welcome to Coasternaut. If you do enjoy today's video, please do give it a like. It massively helps out the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So then, the RMC T-Rex. Let's have a look at, not necessarily competitors, but other coasters which are sort of similar to this in a way. Obviously, sticking with RMC, they have their Raptor model. The T-Rex is a larger version of their Raptor model. The Raptors, for anyone that doesn't know, is their single rail model. These coasters are very intense. They have the more small clone layouts, which, Railblazer and Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. These are the two models we've seen so far of their smaller layouts, and these coasters are known for their intensity, their crazy elements, awesome airtime, and they have the larger coaster models as well, with the Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain and Jersey Devil coaster at Great Adventure. We've seen two of those as well. So, what would make a park want to go for this massive RMC T-Rex over a Raptor? Well, what we've heard about the T-Rex is it's a slightly wider single rail track. It would feature two across seating rather than the single line of seats that we got on the Raptors. So it's essentially a larger track, which means it can feature larger trains. Although we've never seen official builds of these trains, we've only ever seen sort of design concepts, which would obviously increase the capacity of a T-Rex as compared to a Raptor. However, we were told, and I think this is why people got so excited, that these T-Rex trains could possibly be built over 500 foot tall. The tallest coasters in the world at the minute, obviously Top Thrill 2 and King Dakar, they're strata coasters, they go over 400 feet tall, but we're yet to see any coaster break the height record for those coasters, and they've been around for 20 odd years at this point. At the end of the coaster wars, where coasters were constantly sort of one-upping each other, it seemed maybe the Stratocoaster was the limit. However, we were told, or sort of were leaked, that these T-Rex tracks could be built over 500 foot tall. So everyone's thinking, oh my god, this new coaster model which has been announced, we've never seen anything break the height record in so long. Now RMC has come about, they've revolutionised the industry, they've announced this new model, this T-Rex model. Could this finally be what breaks the height record? And I think that's why people got so excited. So that's why people would go for a T-Rex over a Raptor. And the only other sort of potential competitor, in my opinion, is because, I talk about these Stratocoasters, but Intamin isn't really making those either, would be probably the Giga coasters that we see from B&M nowadays. And again, Giga coasters, they cost 25-30 million. That's a massive investment for the parks. That's the reason why we only have maybe 7 or 8 Giga coasters in the world, and the B&M ones are only ever built maybe every 5-6 years ago. We've seen on the current recent trends. So I can imagine, we've never seen one of these T-Rex be built before. They're probably going to be right up there with the B&M Giga coaster prices if they were going to be built 300, 400, 500 feet tall, because of the sheer amount of steel that's being used in construction. So this clearly does limit the amount of parks that would be able to buy an RMC T-Rex, and maybe that is why we've never seen one, because maybe some of the parks inquired about building one that's 200 foot tall, 300 foot, 400 foot, 500 foot, going for the record that RMC claimed it could break. Maybe many parks out there just can't afford that, and that probably has narrowed down the overall amount of parks that could build an RMC T-Rex. So let's look then at the parks. We're clearly looking here at the top sort of tier of elite parks in the world with really large budgets as to potentially building one of these coasters in the future. I think first of all I have to look at Six Flags Qiddiya, the new Six Flags park which is opening in Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. They're building Falcon's Flight at the minute. That's going to potentially break every coaster record we currently know. It's supposed to be the fastest, the longest, the tallest coaster we've ever seen in the world. Obviously, we all know as enthusiasts that stupid sort of render and digitalization of the POV we saw of Falcon's Flight. I don't think it's actually going to look like that. I think many people actually didn't think Falcon's Flight was going to be built at all, but if you didn't know, it is actually under construction at the minute. We have no official sort of layout. We've only got that weird sort of funny video still at the minute to compare it to. Maybe it won't look anything like that video, but this is still apparently going to be a coaster that is going to break every record under the books. We know the money that the Middle East has with all that oil money. Maybe Six Flags Qiddiya will buy one of these, and they'll just have a park full of these absolute monstrous coasters. Maybe it won't be Six Flags Qiddiya, maybe it will be another park in the Middle East that hasn't opened yet, or maybe one of the parks in Dubai. I think looking around the Middle East is definitely, for me, where we're most realistically looking for one of these RMC T-Rexes. People might look at Energylandia and say, well, they've expanded crazy quickly in the past sort of 7 or 8 years since they opened. They have now 20 coasters, in line with Magic Mountain as the park that has the most coasters anywhere in the world. They're currently building 3 or 4 more. They're going to overtake Magic Mountain and be the park with the most coasters in the world. That is all true. However, there is a lot of stories out there about the owner of Energylandia not wanting to spend more than 15 to 20 million US dollars on each different coaster installation. I think Hyperion was their most expensive installation, but you look at rides like Zadra or the new Vekomas they're building. All of these rides aren't from manufacturers like B&M and Mack, which are known to be the most expensive manufacturers in the world, and as I've said, I think that probably prices something like this outside of Energylandia's budget. However, I wouldn't ever put it past Energylandia. They do seem to want to, big up absolutely everyone within the industry and constantly try and break records, so I could see this also potentially going to Energylandia. When we look at the American parks, though, I think it's completely out of the budget of everyone in Six Flags chain, unfortunately. So I think that instantly writes off Six Flags. SeaWorld parks, I can't really see them going for one of these coasters, unfortunately, even including the Busch Gardens parks. Hershend, not really either. I don't think they have the money potentially of the bigger chains like Cedar Fair and Six Flags. When we look at Cedar Fair, I think Cedar Point is obviously the only park which could maybe do it. That I could see them potentially wanting to have the first 200 foot, 300 foot, 400 foot, 500 feet coaster. That would be absolutely amazing for them. They are the roller coaster capital of the world. I think Cedar Point is always one you've got to keep your eye on. And for me then, the only other park would be one of the parks in Japan. One of the 2 crazy parks, either Nagashima Spyland or Fuji-Q Highland. Probably Fuji-Q, that they have Doded Homper, they have Ija Naika, these absolutely crazy rides already. That park seems to not add too many new coasters, but when it does go absolutely swing and hit for the fences and build some of the most intense crazy coasters out there in the world. So I think that's definitely a possibility for them. they've clearly got enough money to spend on big coasters. Ejonica was, I believe, at $50 million, I think. It was a really expensive new addition. So they clearly have the money to spend on these big investments whenever they choose to. It's just about finding the right one. And so for me, that's definitely a option as well. So as I said at the start of the video, to sort of round up, I can't personally see one of these ever happening at this point. I think this is one of those models, unfortunately, which was announced and just never really caught on. Maybe because of the budgeting more than anything, rather than a model that parks didn't want to have. I'm sure a lot of parks would love to have a coaster like this break the height record. I think it's just probably out of a lot of parks' budgets. I think there's potential for this to happen in the future if maybe the whole global economy gets a bit better, or if they're able to find a way to lower the price of one of these, or create new technologies, new trains, which makes it more affordable, more reliable. I think either way, if one is to be built, it's going to be a long way away. And as I've said there, I think realistically, as of the parks we currently know about, there's only really 4 in the world which I'd keep my eye on. It would be Cedar Point in America. I think it would be Energylandia in Europe. I think it would be Six Flags Qiddiya in the Middle East, and Fuji-Q Highland over in Japan. What are your thoughts and feedback though down below? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this RMC T-Rex coaster. I know lots of people have lots of speculation about this ride. They're really excited to potentially see one of these come to the world and be built in the future. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback down below. If a T-Rex was to open, where would it go? Or do you think, like me, one of these will probably never be built? Thank you very much for watching today's video again. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you very much for watching.